I'll be reading excerpts about the outer possibilities of the non-linear, the beyond. So the afterlife, anything beyond the physical, where the past, beginning, and parallel realities, are complementary. The great fall from heaven was really an even greater upsurge of the boundless information necessary for sentient consciousness to create the ultimate reality, beyond the calculation of even the most stabilizing gravitational evolutionary forces, greatest gods or advanced beings. Hence, endless probability models for envisioning, engineering, and manifesting freer simulations. They exist within our expanding awareness. We need to imagine the highest realities while broadening our sciences and data, logic and the rationale aligning with our more inclusive visionary senses, since evidence exists before theory, which precedes proof. The information or pieces to assembling the most intricate yet connected puzzle is already there in environments immediate and beyond. We just need more complementary perspectives and interchangeable interdisciplinary approaches with our systems to probe deeper and extract more. So think combination of topology and origami and art and unfolding. This sounds idealistic and like magical thinking. We're surrounded by infinitely complex patterns in the forms of foliage formations, shadows, architectural alignments, funky stains, cracks of varying lengths, bombarded by rhythms, radiation, and other environmental stimuli, which fluctuate into oracle-like or mandala-like higher mathematical patterns according to the depth of our perspective and beyond. These conglomerated patterns and vibrations, hues, products of our perception, can be used against us in the form of IQ tests and riddles which perplex us, which actually undermine our vast visionary potential. Everything is so encoded that even the codes contain all connecting DNA-like codes and blueprints from times immemorial. We partially evolved from the cosmos after all, so what cosmic properties lie dormant in our DNA? Can we stimulate them with our visionary imaginations or meditations, combined with a more mindful use of our sense-enhancing technologies, aspects of AI tech and the like that's symbiotic with cognitive science? We already do this in limited unconscious forms like dreaming, daydreaming, fantasizing, and through visionary, semi-hallucinatory forms of meditation. Some people need to use psychedelics to peer into the many shadowy subliminal manifestations of the sundial-like alignment of environmental details, like architecture, trees, and other of the aforementioned details, environment. These manifestations may not always be literal supernatural experiences, but our ability to conjure optical illusions may hint at something that there's regardless. It's possible to peer even deeper and encourage truer phantom quantum observer effects. This channeled info is backed from something that I channeled from one of my kindreds, or conceptual kindreds. I don't know, but this is what I got. Ken was a mortal, but his spirit was eternal, on equal footing with the gods. The fact that he truly understood, internalized, and embodied this made him special. It wasn't that he was better than the very souls who are discouraged from recognizing their intimate, most liberating responsibility. Humans may not be the most advanced species, but their vast, diverse qualities can greatly help reconcile the complications produced by the inevitable separation at the beginning. Complications which can be completions to our quest for truth, peace, freedom, and harmony, or non-compromising exploration, if you're not comfortable with those terms. There was no great divine fall or Lucifer rebellion in the way you think. Ken used his many perspectives to envision an incomplete whole or void, the unknown everything, to put it in his words. He helped me in my evolution, and if you reverse the evolu in evolution, you get love you, because even the gods suffered from misinformation. We believed some beings were light, dark, good, evil, inferior, superior, and so on. But Ken translated the primal info storm, or so-called divine separation or Big Bang, into something wonderful, not apocalyptic or predeterministic, fatalistic, hence helping to stabilize it. He understood the Great Fall was actually an even greater upsurge of positive information beyond the calculation of the gods, which I mentioned previously in my conscious self, but this is being verified. Like a volcano erupting lava that can form into more replenishing, expansive lands after the prolonged cooldown. This has a healing effect on the environment as well, attracting more evolutionary catalysts. He rationalized that there was no true beginning or end, just more fleshed out levels of pre-realities, or layers of more substantial yet freer simulations, which requires stimulation, or our deepest wishes, dreams. Why accept a harsh reality that doesn't have to be, when you can imagine a more wondrous reality that can be? We've been overwhelmed by the very diversity of systems, catalysts, and choices necessary for ongoing evolution. But we can rewrite the cosmic story and literally reinvent reality to our advantage, which can also advance your awakening. So who am I, or what am I? We're all light beings on the subatomic level, which is actually eternal and beyond, giant, titanic, and beyond. But our multi-layered yet true essence is seen accordingly to the depth and understanding of the observer and level of the simulation. Again, it's possible to glimpse, even know me and your truest selves, ultimate reality in some shared perspective. My world was just a surreal version of Earth, comparable to an anime epic or virtual reality game. I was a typical girl, had friends, family, and hobbies. Our activities were trippier, more extreme versions of your sports, entertainment, and education. I excelled in sports and martial arts. I was cool, but not in an in-crowd way. I was respected because of my formidable strengths, but not well liked. I was a bit of a loner, fascinated by fringe things and subcultures. That's why I get Ken's trippy work so, and why we resonate. I ghost wrote some of it after all, and I was his divine muse, though he inspired me too, to know my superpower so I could bless him. So mortals need higher powers, but the higher powers need stabilizing powers to balance things out. In our realm, no god or angel remembers their birth or death. Only constant regeneration, not quite reincarnation, because you're always you in a slightly different, albeit interchangeable form. We receive jumbled versions of your culture data, your movies, books, life experiences, and general culture. You can do something mundane like play baseball, our version of it. I was a baseball catcher because of my leadership qualities, strong lengths, balance, and rocket of a left arm, yet I could still see giant monsters, mecha, and other fantastical scenarios rummage through our city. I could live one specific life one moment, then another, experiencing decades in mere minutes by your sense of time. Ken's fascination with Asian culture usually affected my experience and appearance by minutes, in mere minutes by your sense of time. Again, I could live one specific life one moment, then another, experiencing decades in mere minutes by your sense of time. Ken's fascination with I was simultaneously Puerto Rican, Chinese, and everything else, a superhero, you name it. The gods had great powers because we're not so constrained by the laws of physics and Newtonian models. That was part of our challenge. We had so much power that we needed stabilization. That's how Ken helped me with his larger than life ideals and passion. We, your higher powers, are your spiritual kindreds, and each god, alien, whatever you want to call us, has a human kindred, our stabilizing powers once again. Some of us are your doppelgangers, and some of you are our star seeds or star children. Both can coexist. Ken was my star son or star seed, but I didn't always know him, though I sensed him, like he wasn't sure of my existence. We both sensed each other's presence, regardless. I saw my statuesque, voluptuous form take many beautiful characteristics. I became a cyclopean athletic warrior jogger, among others, according to a sense of what's cool, like, kaiju and giant women and things like that. So it's really spiritual versions of things that you undermine as bestial ego attachments. I embodied many wondrous women beings, and my powers were so liberating. I was like the ultimate uh, anime manga femme fatale, so I say that carefully. Previously, I and other gods were drafted to play roles that we didn't always agree with, in conjunction with your varying and often conflicting myths, religions, and schools of thought concerning your cosmic origins and various trends. Sometimes I was a fallen angel in the false simulation that was the Lucifer rebellion or the fall from Eden. But these false simulations can still be very real in relative ways affecting reality. So you could have a vision and think you're in hell, experiencing the Armageddon, and it could be real relative to you, but it's no different than a bad dream or something, or a bad day in an otherwise wondrous life. So everything exists in hierarchies, whether good and bad. I was a blacklisted superheroine in another, but Ken's overpowering lifelong sense of belonging to a cosmic super mother nature reminded me of how I star-seeded him when I experienced another simulation. The one I mentioned earlier concerning how I wanted, a star seed, a man star seed. So actually, I was comprised of several goddesses. We came together, and it resulted in a male. This simulation and others was a remake or adaptation of an event that I could not recall because of its coded profundity. Profundity. I can't always pronounce the profound words that I write. Some truths are coded for our own good, but we can still uncover them if we tune in past the point others can't see within us, but only we see. I came to these conclusions, seeing the whole of reality through his complementary perspectives, and I added more to his vision, though through the very indirect contact I described earlier. So I'll read how I reunite with my family members and kindreds, in other words, through her. So I wrote some of this in 2020, the first month, and I was saying how 2020 was going to be the year of 2020 vision, and that soon became a popular spiritual meme. But while I'm on target, I also think 2021 will be the age of responsibility, if that hasn't been said yet, because 21 is the legal drinking age, and when people grow up. So 2016 was, of course, teenage years with the Trump administration, and 2020, it all came to. But while writing this, during the challenge, she said, your civilization is at a crossroads now. So, anyways, this is going back to the heaven realms. Since I found my inner universe and uncovered my true gene, I could teleport to others' universes via the common links, just like when I experienced their vibes in my various alter egos, and to the various forms of ninja. Ninja has many forms, as do I and everyone. So we're like superheroes that we could clone each other, but Um, it's like, like Batman, Superman, whatever. Batman could clone Superman and manifest a Superman that's unique and can do things that Superman can't do. We want to talk like geeks here, but anyways, for example, I long to see my earthly family, despite my profound happiness, peace, and ecstasy here with my other kindreds. Ninja sensed this and said, "You can still travel to other worlds while remaining grounded." She pointed to a giant solar-powered neon ad displaying cartoon images of Dedham Mall, Downtown Crossing in the 1980s, and other my childhood haunts. Remember your perceptual template and all portals will show, like thumbnails for YouTube videos or websites on a favorites list. Just like you're experiencing the core pattern of your reality now, beyond redundance and karma, you can experience the essence of all experiences in true interpretations of the false simulation that was material reality. You can be any age, shift to any moment in a more symbolic yet meaningful way, not unlike a movie adaptation of a biography. But how do I return? Just focus and look for a picture of me in our world, wherever you're at. I could be a superheroine on a manga cover, DVD, or anything you can project your deepest vision into. So things there are oracles, unlike the magazines in the 3D world, which are just advertisements. I focused on the glimmering multi-mirrors which fluctuated everywhere, and I projected myself into the parking lot of the mall. I just had a great daydream about a super sexy goddess and remembered that I was waiting for my Earth family to meet me at the front entrance of the mall, where I had many great memories of buying the very toys and stuff that ironically triggered my connection to the spiritual, like the Godzilla movies and all that stuff. I was able to become 14 again, seeing our vibe in its purest form. I saw colorful comics and video covers of movies. Japanese culture starting to get popular, I see. I see a lengthy cyclopean sexy mecha strutting through a heavenly version of Tokyo. Her eyes seemed to stare at me, and I could swear that when I read the comic, she spoke at me, shouting, for someone to join her. I focused on one graphic novel which showed a fit Asiatic lady really beyond any known ethnicity, because she looks Latina, like she could just as easily be part of my family, play wrestling with a lean and cut light heavyweight. And I know we know who that is. Suddenly reality reversed, and I became the very thing I perceived, the outer becoming the infinite. So in this part, I'm describing how I think my physical release will be. I won't even call it death, just my release. I'm back in my body in extreme physical and emotional pain one last time. Not because anything terrible happened to me, but I'm just experiencing, you know, I'm just experiencing the gravity of the 3D world for one final second, though it feels longer than that. I feel as though razor sharp white hot claws are slashing my nerve endings. I didn't realize how bad the pain was, for I had grown so accustomed to it. But I'm being forced to deal with it one final time, as if harsh material reality doesn't want me to leave. Life had been a claustrophobic experience, making me feel as though I was trapped in some body bag. Even the act of breathing was a struggle, as if sucking polluted, humid air through a clogged snorkel. All of my body parts had their own ache. However, something wonderful begins to take shape in the dark room of my mind. I see the vague outline of a mansion, and I'm lying on the lap of a voluptuous giant. My head is resting on something refreshingly cool and silken. The heavenly folds caressing the burning nerve centers, while warm, incubating, muscular, feminine thighs support my apparently broken neck. Suddenly, my cracked vertebrae hardens like concrete. Powerful massaging hands, dig a deep burrow in my back and fractured sides. The dead nerve endings are gently plucked out like weeds, and fertile seeds are planted. Warm water fills the burrows, and the gnawing agony of decayed tissue is washed away by the rolling waves of love, including issues, traumas, allowing something great and mysterious to grow within. Then the body bag bursts, the vast plastic bag that was suffocating me. My fried neuron receptors were exposed to 1,000 fans, and I was instantly calmed. Great bellows pumped up my shriveled up lungs to the size of robust oxygen tanks. These tanks contained a kind of divine helium, making me high and giggle hysterically. Finally, relieved of the pressure, my spirit flew around erratically at full speed, like a deflated balloon. Cold water was poured into my brainstem. A small, holy pond of tranquility was forming between my temples. The weeds that were my neuron fibers swayed gracefully in the clear depths. My thinking is not murky at all, and the majestic prehistoric sea monsters swam about in peace. My temples and frontal lobes were massaged internally by the gentle waves settling under the pier of my mind. The gusty warm winds fanned the churning waters, which sent euphoric and sedative chills throughout the entangled network of my nervous system. The nerve cables connected to the overloaded outlets of trauma, grief, sadness, and depression were permanently severed. The maternal giant said, "No, I have not forsaken you. I'm going to show you that you have everything it takes to get what you want, or rather, wants you. So, I shall strengthen your aura tenfold. Your light of peace and positivism will be so bright and powerful that envious, scrutinizing eyes shall be blinded, while curious ones will be restored, while those seeking warmth and security will be drawn to you. You won't ever have to worry about being stronger than a competitor or predator. God and I shall be your autopilot, while you sit back in either peaceful contemplation or deep meditation, enjoying the ride. All we ask is that you live each moment, each day, with an attitude of gratitude and optimism. Let go of the hate and rage. Don't give corrupted minds and forces more credit than they deserve. Be secure and unbiased, not defensive and condemning. Be wise and enlightened, not clever and cynical. Now even your dreams will be peaceful. Suddenly I'm falling, but I'm not worried because I'm falling down an eternal, ethereal waterfall. And I'll land on something soft and gentle. When I fell out of the earthly box, I realized just how confining and diminutive it was. That box had been my world for years. The others left inside had been systematically made to accept its limiting space. But as I zoomed down this funneling water slide, wide and bright as a highway tunnel, I see how much promise the bigger world has. There are windows on the sides, and I see crystal skyscrapers jutting out of a multi-layered Manhattan-like city. I'm thrashed about in all directions by the alternatingly cold and warm waters. I feel like I'm being cleansed in a vast washing machine. I hear cries of joy all around me, for others are on this heavenly water park ride, and hip carnival music blares from the waterproof speakers. I drop into the icy blue ocean of healing and redemption. I'm swimming in the mysterious depths, beyond the point where submarines get crushed. There's no light down here, and the pleasant cold numbs me, like the chilling relief one gets on beach water on a broiling, humid day. As the currents carry me, I've never felt freer, physically or mentally. I'm absorbing some of the hidden energies of the ocean bottom. Maybe it's the meeting point of all worlds, planet cosmos. I can barely hear the chaotic shouts and cries up in the surface as I approach the mossy slanted floor. The ground keeps sloping down. There seems to be no true bottom, as if it's round like the world itself. I swim through the ink-like darkness, and it lightens somewhat. I see new cities, hills, and mountains. My eyelids are pressed by warm sponges. I feel drowsy and dream deeply. So it goes on, and hopefully I'll read more excerpts of different adventures.